In this video, we'll show you how to install the TimberTech Aluminum Framing system. TimberTech Aluminum Framing offers all the components you need to assemble a full deck frame. Before installation, gather all the tools on this list. A properly installed foundation footing system that is below frost line and meets local code requirements is critical to the appearance and performance of TimberTech framing and decking products. Depending on the deck height above grade, and especially in close-to-grade applications, excavation may be needed, including sloping the finished grade to shed water from the home and deck. Always check with local code authorities for specific footing requirements, including type, size, and depth requirements in your area. Examples of acceptable footing systems include poured concrete footings, precast stackable concrete, helical piles, and alternate type piers. Your deck frame or substructure must be securely attached to the foundation to prevent uplift, lateral movement, or shifting of the deck structure. While we do supply post-to-pier brackets, there are many types of connector brackets available on the market to securely attach framing to footings depending on type of footing used, load capacity needed, or other specific requirements. Next, we will go over the steps you need to know to successfully install posts and beams for TimberTech aluminum framing. Step 1. Cut your post to the appropriate length, considering that the beam is 11 1/4 inches tall, joists are 7 1/4 inches tall, and composite decking is typically 1 inch tall. Be sure to consider the additional 1/4 inch total height that the post base and post cap will add to your post. Secure post bases to the pre-installed foundation or footing system using a threaded anchor bolt, washer, and nut. Be sure to install a galvanic barrier between any uncoated steel and aluminum contact points. Step 2. Insert post caps. Insert a post cap into each post and install 4 TimberTech AF flathead screws at each countersunk hole. Step 3. Attach 5.5 inch by 5.5 inch aluminum posts to each post base. Set each post by sliding the 2-inch post base tabs into the internal post slots. Use 6 TimberTech AF 1/4 20 hex head self-drilling screws to secure each post to the post base, ensuring the screws drill through the post wall and into the 2-inch post base tabs that are hidden inside the post. Check that all posts are level and plumb, making any necessary adjustments prior to proceeding. Step 4. Place the beam on top of the posts. Carefully set the beam on top of the posts. At least 2 people are needed to safely hold the beam in place prior to fastening. 2 beams may be used to achieve greater spans between the posts. Refer to CCRR-0523 for allowable single beam and double beam spans. Step 5. Install post-to-beam half brackets. Use TimberTech AF flathead screws to install post-to-beam half brackets on the front side of each beam and post. 2 screws drill into the front of the beam and 2 screws drill into the sides of the post. Ensure the front of the beam is flush with the front edge of the post. For double beam configurations, secure the second beam by installing a post-to-beam half bracket on the back side of the posts. Step 6. Install post-to-beam clips. For a single beam configuration, use TimberTech AF hex head screws to install a beam clip on the back side of each beam post connection. 2 screws drill into the post cap and 1 screw drills into the beam. Single beams may share a single post. If splicing a beam, center the splice on the post and install a beam clip on the back side of each beam. Step 7. Install the ledger. Prior to installing the ledger, you must install a waterproofing membrane between the ledger and the house rim board. After the frame is installed, install an additional waterproofing membrane running from the house behind any siding and across the top of the ledger, so that all the water drains in front of the aluminum ledger. The ledger should be installed so that the bottom of the ledger is level and in the same plane as the top of the drop beam. If your design calls for the frame to slope away from the house, raise the ledger so that the bottom sits slightly higher than the top of the beam. For flush beam installations, the top of the ledger will be in plane with the top of the beam. A slope away from the house can be achieved by slightly raising the ledger. You must pre-drill the ledger prior to installing ledger lock fasteners or other approved coated steel anchors. Pre-drill through both walls of the ledger with a 5/16 inch or 3/8 inch drill bit, using the V-notches on the rim joist for vertical positioning. Alternate ledger lock anchors every 8 inches, placing one high and one low across the ledger in a W pattern. Some instances may require 2 screws every 8 inches or a different fastening schedule. Refer to local building code and CCRR-0523 for proper spacing and placement of anchor screws. Next, we will cover how to prepare and install joist for your TimberTech aluminum framing. You will need rim joists, field joists, rim joist hangers, field joist hangers, and screws. A standard rectangular deck frame requires 4 rim joist components to form the perimeter. The ledger and rim joist are usually cut to the overall frame width. The 2 end joists are cut to the same length as the field joists. The length of the field joists and end joists is determined by taking the overall frame length and subtracting 4 inches, 2 inches for the ledger with joist hangers and 2 inches for the rim joist with joist hangers. Install rim joist hangers to every end joist and field joist hangers to every field joist, using a joist hanger and 2 TimberTech AF 1/4 20 hex head screws at each joist end. Ensure the 2 hooks are pointed down and that the top of each joist hanger is flush with the top side of the joist. Step 8. Install rim joist corner templates at the ends of the ledger and rim joist using 2 TimberTech AF flathead screws for each template. The corner templates can be removed or left in place after the installation is complete. Step 9. Install end joists. Hang the end joist between the ledger and rim joist, then secure each corner using 1 short L bracket and 4 TimberTech AF 1/4 20 hex head screws. Use the rim joist corner template as an alignment tool to ensure the end joists are installed perpendicular and flush with the ends of your ledger and rim joist. The end joist should have rim joist hangers installed prior to installing the short L bracket. Step 10. Hang field joists. Install field joists by hanging them on the ledger and rim joist. This may require rotating the joist about 10 degrees, lowering the joist so it is in plane with the perimeter frame, and then rotating back so the hangers latch on to the ledger and rim joist. Ensure that the top and bottom field joist hanger hooks are fully engaged with the ledger and rim joist. If the joist looks misaligned or out of plane, check that the field joist hanger is properly latched onto the top and bottom hooks on the ledger and rim joist. Step 11. Install joist spacers and uplift keys. Hang a joist spacer on the ledger and rim joist to set the appropriate joist spacing. Then insert a 2-inch uplift key through the top opening of the joist hanger. This locks the field joist components to the rim joist and prevents vertical uplift forces. It is critical to install a joist spacer on both sides of every joist, as the joist spacers lock in the uplift keys and prevent the joists from moving horizontally along the rim joist track. Joist spacers may be stacked, combined, or cut to smaller widths if the joist spacing is not standard 12-inch or 16-inch on center. If you do not install a joist spacer and uplift key, you must fasten the field joist to the rim joist using an angle bracket and screws. For 12-inch on center, use 10-inch joist spacers. For 16-inch on center, use 14-inch joist spacers. Step 12. Continue the installation process. Repeat the previous joist hanging steps, installing field joists, uplift keys, and joist spacers until there is 1 joist remaining. An alternate method of installing joists is to use a tall L bracket and 4 TimberTech AF 1/4 to 20 hex head screws. This method does not require joist spacers and uplift clips. One common installation practice is to use joist hangers, spacers, and uplift keys to hang joists on the ledger, and then fasten the joist to a flush beam using a tall 90-degree bracket and 4 TimberTech AF hex screws. Install the last field joist and insert an uplift key. Then, measure the resulting gap between the last field joist and the end joist, accounting for the short L bracket in the corner, and cut your last spacer to the appropriate length. Alternatively, you can use a tall L bracket or short L bracket to secure the last field joist. Step 13. Installing a post or a joist to beam clip. At every joist to beam connection, install a joist to beam clip using 3 TimberTech AF hex head screws, with 2 screws drilling into the beam and 1 screw drilling into the side of the field joist. The bottom lip of the field joist should fit snugly under the step of the beam clip. In the case of a double beam, center the beam clip over the seam and fasten 1 hex screw into each beam. Step 14. Install optional fascia and rim joist covers. Open rim joist ends can be covered with a rim joist corner template or a rim joist end cover with adhesive caulk. Black is recommended. The entire perimeter frame can be covered with a 7 1/4 inch PVC riser board or deck board or PVC trim, all of which can be fastened with Cortex driller screws and plugs. Composite fascia is not compatible with aluminum framing. Step 15. Finish open beam ends. The open beam ends can be covered with a beam cover using adhesive caulk. Black is recommended. When installing 45-degree rim joist perimeter angles using the 135-degree angle bracket, consider the following. Rim joists do not need to be miter cut, as the 135-degree angle bracket forms the 45-degree corner. When installing railing at the 45-degree corner, you may need to cut the rail post L bracket and drill new bolt holes so that the rail post can be installed at the correct angle. Refer to specific railing instructions for proper rail post placement at 45-degree corners. When installing field joist to rim joist with angled connections using the adjustable angle bracket, the following tips should be applied. The adjustable angle bracket is a flat plate with a V-notch. Using vice grips, bend the bracket to the proper angle, but do not overbend or bend past 100 degrees. Only bend the bracket once. Bending the bracket back and forth will cause the bracket to break at the V-notch. When connecting field joist to rim joist at an angle, the field joist must be angle cut, and the adjustable angle can only be installed at the obtuse angle. When installing 2 rim joists with the adjustable angle brackets, you may want to angle both rim joists to create a mitered outside corner. There are a few ways to design your frame to support a picture frame deck border. A single picture frame border, or feature board, can be achieved using a sister joist, which may require rim joist blocking to design around your rail post L brackets as shown in this example. Alternatively, ladder blocking can be installed using cut field joist or rim joist sections and short 90-degree brackets. For double picture frame borders, you can install TimberTech flat blocks or use one of the suggested layouts in our install guide. With all of this in mind, you can now complete the installation of your TimberTech aluminum frame and begin installing your TimberTech deck. Please refer to our install guide, code compliance research report, and other installation videos for more details on stair framing, rail, and decking installation.